Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Did you guys know Trump was the chosen one? Did anybody know that? I thought LeBron was the chosen one.
Excuse me, somebody had to do it. I am the chosen. Somebody had to do it. So I'm taking on China. I'm taking on China on trade. And you know what? We're winning.
We're winning. I just find it funny. Somebody tweeted out today or said something. He tweeted. It was another radio person who was just in love with Trump, who believes he's the Messiah, I think. The chosen one, the Messiah. I joked about that earlier, and I had some people just send me just awful things because I think that it's like, whoa, you guys are really, you believe this. Like, you believe that he's been sent to the heavens, from the heavens. You know, he's a flawed human being. I'm not saying he's a bad human being. Other people out there will say he's a bad human being. I will never do that. I don't know him as a human being. All right. I just know what I see. Is he divisive at times? Yeah, but that's because here's the thing for Trump. Trump is divisive in a way where to him, it's a game. It's about winning, right? He wants to win. So I'm going to do the best thing I possibly can to give myself a chance to win. So I'm going to say some stuff that's going to rattle some people. I'm going to say some stuff that's going to make some people uncomfortable. And I'm going to say some stuff that's going to get people excited. And that's what Trump does. And I laugh at it because I understand the trolling part of it. Do I agree with it always? No. Do I disagree with it always? No. But man, I tell you what, some people out there, if he was to lose, or take this, if he decides he doesn't even want to run, let's just say we get to January and he says, you know what, I've had enough, right? You know, because anything can happen. Anything can happen. And he says, I've just had enough, right? I don't want to, I'm done. And I'm over this. I'm over my family and the brand has taken a beating. And I mean, whether you like Trump or not, the sacrifice he's made for his brand, that name is tarnished, right? That name is absolutely tarnished. Years building it up, builds a brand for himself, goes into the highest office in the land. A lot of stuff that, is self-inflicted in saying that. It's not like he got a fair shake from the word go. I mean, I watched the coverage on CNN and MSNBC and stuff of and I read some of the stuff on the interwebs. It just makes me laugh. Like, oh my God, did you see Elizabeth Warren running? The internet fell in love with it. Really? Is the internet in love with it? Like, is that it? And why we love it? Who are we? But let's just say he steps away. What happens then? Like, what's the media going to do? But what is a group of people out there going to do? You remember, 60 plus million people voted for him. Not everybody has gotten to the point where they believe he's the Messiah or the second coming. But I do find it interesting. Like, what happens then? I don't know. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. The gun control debate that continues to go on. It's just, I don't know where we stand because it seems to change on a daily basis. And that's politics. And with Trump, you'll get two answers that are different in the same question.
We have very, very strong background checks right now.
President Trump switching his position again on guns following a lengthy conversation with the NRA president, telling him he does not support universal background checks.
You know, they call it the slippery slope, and all of a sudden everything gets taken away. We're not going to let that happen.
Following the recent mass shootings, the president had tweeted both sides needed to, quote, come together and get strong background checks. But it's the same type of flip we saw from him after the Parkland shooting, where he told Republicans, you're afraid of the NRA, before later backing away from some of the bipartisan talks.
Yeah. So I don't know. And I don't know what's going to happen, when they get back from recess. Recess, so stupid. When they get back from their little time off, their break, their vacay, I don't know what's going to happen. Are they going to take up anything? Is Mitch McConnell going to entertain anything? Couldn't tell you because I don't know. Right. What I do know is that at this moment in time, it looks like background checks are gone. And states are going to decide what they're going to do. From there, California's going to do their own thing. Texas do their own thing. Arizona does its own thing. My son was out here for 10 days. He spent about a month plus here with me this summer. And it was being 9 years old, coming from a place like California where it's so restrictive when it comes to guns, and then being in a situation where it's open carry here. So he'll see somebody in the store and, you know, they're locked and loaded with a gun on their hip. And he's like, Dad, is that a policeman? I'm like, no, it's not. It's just a regular person. He's like, but I said, it's not like California. But I don't know where we go with this. And I continue to say, the more and more I hear, it's the same thing over and over. It's pissed off, angry young men who are looking for something. Still, we're not talking about that. We're talking about red flags. 27 since Dayton and El Paso, 27 people have been arrested, either saying something, posting something, and or being essentially brought to the attention of the authorities of mass shootings potentially. 27. Is that the part of the see something, say something? Again, some of those people, they're not all there. Let's be real. You know, the person in Memphis that was going to go to Memphis, his mom's like, he's got schizophrenia. He's been seeing treatment for years. He didn't have the means for a gun. And you know, one time he was saying that he had to go to this church because they were sicking snakes on him while he slept. That sounds like somebody who's nuts. Other people pissed off and angry. Some people just saying stuff. The little boy in Florida we touched on just said something, right? Pissed off and angry inside of a video game, maybe joking around. Sorry, those jokes don't work anymore. You can't do something like that.
He's under arrest currently for making a threat to cause a mass shooting / act of terrorism.
Cause a mass shooting?
A threat, a written threat, plan to carry out a mass shooting.
But he's just a little kid playing a video game.
And all these kids keep getting arrested. And that's why the FBI and the local law enforcement is spending so much time. Because how do we know he's not going to be the kid from Parkland? He's not going to be the next kid, the kid that shot up Sandy Hook. We don't know that.
No, we don't know that. But is the throwaway line now. We talked about that earlier, and we were discussing it amongst ourselves off the air. What is the throwaway line that everybody said? Like, you know, you get on a plane when you were younger. I mean, we'd all goof around. Hope there's no bomb, and we joke around. There is no, like, the sense of humor is gone because then it's understandable based on all the things that are happening. I get that. But can we go too far? Absolutely. Do we need comprehensive checks? I would like to think we're going to get comprehensive background checks. I would like to think that. I think most members of the NRA probably believe the exact same thing. The problem is, like everything else, and we've discussed our disdain for government and the way that government operates and how we can't trust government. We cannot trust government because you never know what they're going to do. You never know what they're going to do because they say one thing, they promise one thing, and how many times have they delivered the things they're supposed to deliver? Very few, very few. And how many times they said, this tax is going to sunset. Don't you worry. This is going to happen over here. Don't you worry. This is only temporary, and temporary seems to last forever. Maybe we don't understand what the word temporary means. Maybe it's our fault. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter and your Instagram. Check out the gram. I posted something earlier. I'm going to be doing a charity event. So check it out. Give. That's who we are. It's what we do here. It's what we do. Trump dealing with immigration. We've got new rules, I guess you would call it, when it comes to immigration. And this has to do with the Flores Act. If you don't know what the Flores Act, centrally, this has been on the books for a long time. 20 days is all you can hold a child in custody. After that, you have to release them. And that's the loophole that is inside of our system and that has been, asylum and the Flores Act. People take advantage of that. Now they're looking at doing something a little bit different, changing the rules. What will that mean? I couldn't tell you because I got to see if it's ever going to even have a chance to go into effect. Why? Well, courts.
The new rule establishes a high national standard for care of children and families in custody, allows the government to keep families together for fair and expeditious immigration proceedings, restores integrity to our immigration system, and eliminates the incentive for children to be used or exploited to enter the United States.
Yeah, so now if you come here with your family at the border, you're going to be held together as a group, as a unit. Supposedly, it's going to be better. It's going to be this amazing thing, and that is McElhaney right there talking about it. I don't know how this is going to play itself out, because I listen to things, and then the first thing I think of is, well, how long until this gets to a situation where it gets to the courts? Because that's what we're all about now. It's about the courts. Anything this president does, and by the way, anything any president does from now on is going to be based solely in the courts, any big thing. So we'll see. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. I do love hearing from you. Every single day, thousands of dogs are being euthanized. Millions a year. It's sad. And those are dogs haven't done anything, but they're being euthanized. And also every day, 20 veterans a day commit suicide. But with your help, we can pair the two up. It's called Wounded Paw Project, and it is amazing. It really, really is. What they do is they rescue these dogs. Dogs that they say, well, these dogs can't be, they're shelter dogs. They can't be service dogs. They rescue them, train them to be service dogs, then get them to our veterans, first responders, and their family. It is absolutely amazing. And what it does for somebody who's in need, who's struggling mentally and physically, what it can do is life-changing. But it's not easy and it's not cheap, and they need your help. RV, truck, extra car, whatever they got. Flies or floats, they'll come get it. Right? They're going to take it off your hands. You're going to get a great tax-deductible gift. They take cash as well. It is truly amazing. I'm telling you, go check out woundedpawproject.org. See the work they're doing. Or call 844-678-4PAW. That's 844-678-4729. Or woundedpawproject.org. You'll be saving a paw to save a life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
If you're part of the politically exhausted majority, don't fear. Your time to be validated and rejuvenated is here. Wake up. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Attorney General William Barr said the federal investigations into Jeffrey Epstein's suicide at the Metropolitan Correctional Center are moving slower than hoped.
There have been some delays because a number of the witnesses were not cooperative. A number of them required having union representatives and lawyers before we could schedule interviews.
The Bureau of Prisons requires participation in official investigations. Barr said he has seen nothing so far to undercut the medical examiner's conclusion that Epstein died by suicide.
Oh, that thing's going to go on. And the mystery of what happened. There's another one of those things where you will never, ever, ever know the truth about what took place. Never. It's never going to happen. You are never going to find out what took place. Just never, ever, ever going to happen. And the reason's pretty damn simple. Because there's enough of a but in there for people to go, but, you know, you'll find out that somebody maybe was sleeping. Yeah, you're hearing stories that they talked to some of the other inmates talking about, money and this, that. Never, ever going to know the truth. Just never. Right? The truth that because everybody wants what? Everybody wants the simple answer. Is it black and white, simple answer? He killed himself. We saw it. We got it on film. That's what everybody wants. And you're not going to get that. You'll have enough in there to go, maybe something else happened. Maybe. Possible. Maybe. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Talked a bit about it. Spicy on Dancing with the Stars. Is everybody happy?
Most of the cast of season 28 is a usual group of actors, reality stars, and athletes.
It's the Bachelorette.
But there's one name getting much of the attention.
Sean Spicer.
Former White House press secretary Sean Spicer. The announcement was followed by a statement from the show's host Tom Bergeron, tweeting that he had asked producers to avoid divisive bookings in this exhaustive political climate, and he thought they had all agreed. He wants the show to be a fun respite from politics. He ends by writing, quote, "We can agree to disagree as we do now, but ultimately, it's their call."
Yeah. And isn't that sad? I mean, honestly, isn't it like it's here's the thing. Pop culture and things like this used to be where right and left we're not going to be about politics. We're not going to be about divisive issues. We're not going to be about anything else. We're going to watch sports. We're going to watch shows. We're going to listen to music. And there's going to be a respite from all that. And we're in a position now where it's like we can't even do that. Like the thing that used to bind us no matter what, whether it's sports or whether it was music or movies or television, we've lost that now in so many ways. We can't even go to that place of hey, this is a safe zone of just fun, pop culture, laughing, admiring somebody's talent, laughing at somebody because they're doing something crazy. Nope, not anymore. Now it has to be a situation where Sean Spicer? How dare he? He's a racist. He's a this or he's a that. That's not cool. It's not. Here's the thing. It'll play in flyover country, right? Because they don't hate the president. So that'll be fine. Like, but what do you expect? He's going to come on there and what's he going to do? You may find out he's a nice guy. Oh, my God, what if he is? 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Oh, goodness me. This is a story to make you shake your head, kids. Make you shake your heads. Yeah, this generation, I don't even know what to say at this point in time. I don't know what to say. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Oh, yeah, baby. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Well, his power is declining every single day. See, what he doesn't understand is that he has a rate-limiting slope of power decline every single day, because every time he opens his mouth, every time he sends out a tweet, what's happening is the rest of the world is reassembling itself around him. And so his America First strategy is going to leave America alone.
He doesn't use his power wisely.
No, it's actually to his detriment, to the detriment of the American society, to the American citizen, to the global citizen. Every time his mouth opens, he reduces American power around the world.
Oh, the mooch. Man, the mooch is, he's coming. It is funny, though, right? Like the way that, like, if you go against Trump, you're welcome on all of the establishment media. They will just throw their arms out to you, just praise you. Come on in, mooch. Come on in, mooch. Come on in, mooch. Mooch is ready to roll.
Very confident that he'll be primaried. The problem right now is the conventional wisdom that if you go into a primary, you're like a Republican crash dummy. But the president's got a very tired script. It's a bullying script. He says the same thing about everybody. It's tired now. You know, you're in your third or fourth season of it. But he knows people hate him. So, I mean, like when he's in the rally, he's saying, well, if you love me or you hate me, you're going to vote your 401k and you're going to vote for me. But the American people, they love the 401k. I'm not saying that they don't. And maybe there's a group of them that love the 401k more than America, but they love the America more.
Is that true? I still think we vote with our pocketbook, so we're a long way away from what may happen. Will he get primaried? Bill Weld going to primary him? Is that going to go anywhere? Honestly? Does anybody know who William Weld is? Not a lot. You know, I don't see him getting primaried. And a lot can happen. I mean, let's be real. A lot can happen between now and say January, February, March, where somebody may come up and say, I'm going to try it. A lot could happen. What is that going to be? Couldn't tell you. And I don't know what it's going to look like, because the fact is none of us know what it's going to look like, because between now and the end of September, we'll have at least one or two chaotic situations, right? Then between the end of September and October, we'll have another one or two crazy chaotic situations. And then, you see where I'm going with this? So I don't know. I do not know what's going to happen. What I do know is a lot will change. A lot will change. Change on the Democratic side and on the Republican side. You know, he's come out and he's given, you know, Pence a vote of, yeah, we're going to stick with Pence and those kind of things. But God, you never know. You just don't know. And you also don't know where he's going to go. He may look up one day and say, you know what, I've had enough. Right? I've had enough. I did what I wanted to do. Right? I've sacrificed enough. I put myself out there. You know, for better or worse, I'm done. Or he may win. You don't know. You don't. But as far as being primaried, man, you can throw all the money you want at it right now. I just don't see who out there is going to primary him that's worth a damn, that has a chance with, because anybody can primary him. But what you need is somebody who's got name recognition and gobs of cash. Who out there has name recognition and gobs of cash that is going to have a chance at winning? Who? And is going to take a risk in doing so. I don't see anybody. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Feel free to tweet at us. So, I don't know how to describe this in this world of weirdness and wackiness. You know, people are trying to figure out, you know, like work-life balance and just getting back to our own selves. And so this is the latest trend.
Good morning and welcome back. So a new trend is on the rise, and it's called adult recess.
Yeah, adult recess. I just want you guys to hear that again.
It's called adult recess.
I want you to hear it again.
It's called adult recess.
I'm a grown man. All right, so I do 3 radio shows. Do my show in the morning. Do my national show. Then I do a show at night. I do 3 radio shows. In between, I have adult recess called I Go Work Out by Myself. Right? That's my adult recess. Thursday nights, I play indoor soccer, time permitting, on a team. That's adult recess. I don't need anything else. I don't need any other adult recess. Steve is filling in for Phil. Producer Steve, let me ask you a quick question. How old are you?
Oh, sorry. I'm 24.
You're 24. All right. Adult recess. Would you ever do adult recess?
I mean, I take a lunch break, but that's about it.
Again, adult recess.
Yes, that's what we're talking about, adult recess.
Here to tell us all about it is entertainment reporter and host of The Gun Show, Dr. Mike Gunzelman, MD.
Dr. Gunzelman.
So what is adult recess?
All right, so what's happening is more and more people out there, I guess they're getting so upset about work that they need to have organized playtime.
Maybe that's a generational thing, right? Because, you know, now everything's a play date. Like, nothing is like when we were kids, like, and you wouldn't understand this, producer Steve, you wouldn't understand it. When we were kids, right? I'm 48 and Phil's about the same age, and we got producer Anthony. We would just go outdoors by ourselves and find something to do, right? Like, and we'll go hang out with our friends, ride our bikes all over. We didn't need play. There was nobody like, hey, should we get together on Tuesday and we'll have a play date? There was none of that. So I'm just saying. So apparently stressed out at work, gotta have a little adult recess.
All right, so it's kind of like a little bit of a nostalgia. They're doing like hopscotch and Lincoln Logs and all these games. Now, this is why, now we know why 20% of millennials still live at home with their parents. Because they think adult recess is fine.
Hopscotch. Hopscotch? Really? Lincoln Logs?
I don't really get it because, listen, I'm all about having fun. You guys know me. I love having fun.
Yeah.
But I don't think you need organized get-togethers of hundreds of people to, like, just go rampant and play hopscotch every day.
So,
are you sure? I wouldn't even, first of all, I wouldn't even know where to find a group to play hopscotch. Or I wouldn't even know where to do it. Right? I wouldn't even know. I'm sure there's a website like adultrecess.com or something, and you probably go there and it's probably some weird fetish thing. Right? But it's just I don't. Do we really need this? Yes. It's the stress of the world. We need this. Right? Like, my boss is mean, and the person sitting next to the cube is mean, and so-and-so is upsetting me, and I need to get back out there, and I need adult recess. I need to get around other people, and we need to do hopscotch. Wow. That's nuts. I know, like, they have, like, kickball leagues, right? That kind of became a hipster thing. And I don't know if you could do dodgeball leagues anymore, like, because I don't know if that's allowed, because what if you hit somebody too hard? But, yeah, that's what we're doing, kids. Adult recess. And I'm like, wouldn't you just go to the gym? Like, isn't that recess? Like, going to the gym? Like, that's a gym thing? Like, I'm going to go to the gym and take a swim. And no, it's not the same, because we're going to do hopscotch. We're keeping score. But everybody wins. Oh, okay. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Vaping, which I have a feeling that we're going to look back in a couple of years and realize how awful of a trend this had started, this vaping thing, and the hopes and prayers that we find something to beat, nicotine and smoking. And just like, remember Fin-Fin? I always go back to Fin-Fin. Like, Fin-Fin was this magic pill until everybody's, like, kidneys fell out. And they're like, oh, I don't know if this is a good idea that we should be doing this stuff. And I just feel like vaping is the same thing. And they have study after study saying, yeah, you know what?
The study, published in the journal Radiology, recruited 31 healthy people in their 20s and 30s. They were all non-smokers. They each took 16 3-second puffs of e-cigarette liquid without nicotine. And what they found was that it temporarily damaged that person's blood vessels.
Yeah, so they're looking every single day. They're looking, and they're seeing more and more that this is a bad, bad, bad thing. And I've seen a lot of people who are like, they vape now and they used to smoke and they act like, oh, it's no big deal because it's vape and it's way safer and it's all of these things. And I'm thinking, no, it's not. You're going to find out it's not. You're going to find out it's not safer. But now it's out there. Like, what do you do now? Like, you're not going to get rid of it. Yeah, I know cities are trying to get rid of it and certain areas are trying to get rid of it and they're trying to do certain things. But, just like with cigarettes, it's out there now. And, I still don't see us yanking cigarettes. We know that it's bad for you. We know it's awful for you. And the beauty of America is you have choice. Well, that is the beauty of America, right? Hamburgers in abundance is bad for you. And lack of exercise will cause you to swell up, get diabetes, get sick, cost us a lot of money. It's the same thing with this. You know it's bad for you. Well, it's not as bad as, is what I always hear. It's not as bad as. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. The Jay-Z fallout still continues, and it is getting uglier and uglier. So you've got, first of all, you have Donald Ross, who owns the Miami Dolphins, who is going to throw a fundraiser for Trump. And then you have Kenny Stills on his team, who's pissed off and angry. And he's come out and he's talked about, how angry he is for his owner of his team to even, even contemplate throwing something for Trump.
If you want to have a constructive conversation, do a little research and then let's talk about something. Leave your feelings out of it, leave your emotions out of it, and come with some factual things and speak civil lies. And, if you can't agree on something, then agree to disagree and then go your way.
But people don't do that anymore. Now it's like we have to hammer you. So he's pissed off and angry. And now a ton of people are angry at Jay-Z because of his want to be an owner in the league. And you're going to need 31 other owners to sign off you being an owner in the league. And so everybody's looking ahead and sell out. I read something, I don't know if it's like Woke World or one of these things where it was just like the fall of an icon. And I was like, wow. Wow, the fall of an icon. So Kenny Stills came out and he hammered Jay-Z about his comments and what's going on.
He could have reached out to Colin. He could have reached out to me. Some of the ways that he answered his questions, talking about we're moving past healing, like he ever protested. He's not an NFL player. He's never been on a knee.
Yeah, he's not an NFL player. He's never protested. Like, they're mad at him because you never did any of this crap. You never protested. You never did any of that stuff. So don't tell us we're past anything you never did. Oh, it's going to get ugly. It's going to get ugly. He wants to own a team. He does. He wants to own a team. And this is the way he's looking at it. Like, hey, you know what? I get in here. Maybe I can hold their feet to the fire a little bit more. And in doing so, we'll see if we can get some stuff done. But he really wants to own a team. So Kenny Stills goes out today, and another player blares Jay-Z music as he's coming out. Ooh, going to get ugly. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at me. Check out the Instagram. Go to thechadshow.com. Grab your podcast where available. It is the Chad Benson Show.
Don't let the Washington Beltway strangle you. This is where the exhausted majority comes to refuel, realign, and reevaluate. This is Chad Benson.
Florida man is facing charges.
Florida man swings across a pool of alligators.
The Florida man is facing serious charges for igniting a homemade pipe bomb that flew into his neighbor's yard.
All right, trigger warning on this one. Florida is Florida. This one is spectacular, though. This one's crazy. So, elderly man, 74-year-old Gary Van Rieswick, right? Sebring, Florida, just before midnight, called 911, hung up. Cops show up. Apparently, he found somebody on the dark web that has a fetish, and the fetish is eunuch, right? A eunuch. And this guy, Gary Van Rieswick, said, hey, I make your dreams come true. I got all the stuff, right? I've even done it to some animals, even done it to myself. Took one of them. Took one of my own. First of all, how does a 74-year-old even find the dark web? Most people couldn't find the dark web, right? So he told the deputy, hey, look, I just performed a castration on a man, and to say the least, the sheriff's office wrote, he dropped the ball on this one. He said he met the man on a website called eunuch.com, and that he told the man that he'd castrated animals and even removed one of his own in 2012. He supposedly performed a similar castration procedure on a man in a local motel 7 years earlier. First of all, how does it even come up? Are you sitting around going, you know what? I've been looking at what these eunuchs are doing, and I'm thinking they're doing a good job. I'm thinking this might be something I'm into, right? Like, this is, I know there's, look, there's out there's stuff for everybody, and you let your freak flag fly. I got zero problems with that. And at the same time, how does one say, hey, I just met you on the internet, and you seem like an upstanding 74-year-old man who's done stuff to yourself and to animals. Why don't you give it a shot? Oh, sweet Jesus.
We're going for a ride. Dwayne Johnson's the highest paid male actor in the world. Forbes reports the Fast and Furious Presents Hobbs and Shaw star raked in $89.4 million in the year ending June 1st. Whatever it takes. Avengers Endgame stars Chris Hemsworth and Robert Downey Jr. take the second and third place spots, respectively. Fellow Avengers Bradley Cooper, Chris Evans, and Paul Rudd also make the top 10. Johnson was number 2 on last year's list, with George Clooney taking the top spot.
I was trying to think, what did George Clooney do last year where he got that much money? $89 million. If he was a pharmaceutical CEO, everybody would hate him. But because he's The Rock, we're like, he's cool, he's funny. We're good with that. We're good with you making $89 million, not pharmaceutical people. But you okay. CEOs, no way. You, yeah, we're good with that. We're good because you're The Rock. You're fun. We're okay with you doing that. Makes me laugh. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Just a reminder, our hatred of boycotts is real, and now trending, boycott Dancing with the Stars. That's ridiculous. So boycott Dancing with the Stars because Sean Spicer's on there. So that's what we're doing now. Wow. Can't have nice things. Can't even get along. Can't even get along in the world of pop culture. We've taken that away from ourselves. The fear was always we would rot from the inside out. We got to stop that. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show, Twitter, thechadshow.com. Got your podcast there. And where other great podcasts are available. It is the Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
The administration is dealing with this historical influx of migrants, and it has dipped slightly in the past couple of weeks, but we're still looking at historic highs, and they want to not encourage people to come. And what the Trump administration and conservatives have been saying for a long time now is that people know that if they come with children, that these restrictions placed by the court are in place, and they can't hold them for very long.
That's right, and that's why now going to change it up a little bit. That's right. Administration has announced they're going to do something a little bit different. We'll see how this plays itself out. Lawsuits, get ready. 60 days before this thing can even go into effect. But get ready for the lawsuits. And the new situation essentially is this. You show up, you've got kids, you're going to be detained, and you guys will be kept together, but it will be indefinite until your immigration status is essentially sorted out. So before 20 days, that's the Flores rule. It's been around for a very long time. And the rule is after 20 days, you can no longer hold minors. New rule is we're going to hold everybody together in a facility until we sort it out. And this isn't about people that are here now. This is about the potential of this getting down south of the border, right? Honduras, El Salvador, Guatemala, and even in parts of Mexico where people are still coming and saying essentially, if you come here, this is what's going to happen. Is it going to work? I don't know. Will it ever go into effect? Couldn't tell you. Why is that? Pretty simple. It's called lawsuits because there's going to be plenty of lawsuits.
The driving factor for this crisis is weakness in our legal framework for immigration. Human smugglers advertise, and intending migrants know well that even if they cross the border illegally, arriving at our border with a child has meant that they will be released into the United States to wait for court proceedings that could take 5 years or more.
Yeah, 5 years or more. So what happens in those 5 years? Well, you build a life here. Maybe you have a family here. You get married. Maybe you have another child here. You do all of these things while awaiting adjudication. And then when it comes, again, 90% of people who apply for asylum here aren't going to get asylum. Then what? So now the whole thing is we're going to keep you in custody while we go through the entire process. Could it take 3 months? Could it take 3 years? I don't know. Are you willing to take that risk in coming here?
The new rule establishes a high national standard for care of children and families in custody, allows the government to keep families together for fair and expeditious immigration proceedings, restores integrity to our immigration system, and eliminates the incentive for children to be used or exploited to enter the United States.
So now the other side of it is, this is Madhu Grenwall. That right there was Kevin McAleenan talking about. The other side of this is okay, so you're going to put these kids in facilities. What are these facilities going to be like? You know, that's the worrisome side of it. You could say high standards. And he talked about all kinds of stuff.
There's a large community living room that has big screen television, cushioned couches and lounge chairs, a gaming area, and a separate library that contains books, other television sets, video games, and board games.
Ooh, that sounds great. You know, it's a campus-like atmosphere. Other people are going to come out and say, no, you shouldn't be doing any of this.
The government shouldn't be jailing kids and certainly shouldn't be trying to put children in jail for longer.
That is Madhu Grenwall right there talking about what should or shouldn't happen. You shouldn't jail kids. It goes back to this entire thing that we've talked about is we have and she's from the ACLU. We have a loophole that is being exploited. Our kindness now is being essentially taken advantage of. And where do we go at this point in time? Everybody wants to talk about the things we shouldn't do. Nobody wants to talk about the fact that there are rules in place, that we have a sovereign land, that we have a border, that there are ways of going about doing things. Nobody wants to talk about those things, and that people have found that loophole and have exploited it on us.
They have long asserted that dismantling Flores is the only way to, quote unquote, deal with the crisis at the border. Of course, we challenge that. Authorizing an expansion of family detention and increasing the detention of children is not the way you address humanitarian concerns at the border.
No, maybe not. Here's the problem. All of the ways we've talked about that can be done with any right mind individual on both sides of the aisle who sit down and say, all right, here's the deal. We do need more people to immigrate to this country because we're going to need more taxpayers. We've got an older generation. We're not producing younger people. This could be a very good thing for us. It should be a very good thing for us if done correctly. Now, how do we do it without saying, hey, anybody who wants to come here, we're for open borders and we'll pay for everything? And then you start breaking down, okay, this is what we want. This is what we want. This is what we think it should be. This is what we think it should be. Right-minded individuals who do not care about who gets the win can sort this out. So, yeah, she's right. The problem is she's coming at it from a point of view where she thinks she's dealing with two parties that are actually invested in finding a solution in this. And that's where she's wrong. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Trump today speaking about all kinds of things, including background checks.
I have an appetite for background checks. We're going to be doing background checks. We're working with Democrats. We're working with Republicans.
He seems to be all over the place. I got to be honest with you. He's all over the place when it comes to this. You know, 2 days ago, it seemed he was on it. Yesterday, it seems he was completely against it. Now he says he's got an appetite for background checks.
We're working on background checks. There are things we can do, but we already have very serious background checks. We have strong background checks. We can close up the gaps. We can do things that are very good and things that, frankly, gun owners want to have done.
Yeah, and there is. We've heard from NRA, people yesterday who are members of the NRA that there are certain things that they're looking at the NRA and saying, we think you've gone too far. There are some things that we want. But like a lot of times, right, what is it? It's the fear of the government and the overreach. And what do you allow the government to do? Because if the government, especially one side, thinks they've got you on something, they could beat you on something, right, whether it's choice or guns, and that they could just say, well, this is how we'll start it, and then we'll go from there. Then what? That's the fear factor. That is the fear factor. And the problem, as always, is, and it's something I always laugh about, is the extremes usually are the ones who control the conversation. And when you have people who are on the extremes controlling the conversation, what ends up happening? Nothing. Nothing ever gets done. They're not interested in that. What are they interested in? Keeping the conversation going, because it's a win-win for them. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Hope you're doing well on this beautiful day. So today, apparently, Trump is now the king of Israel. I don't know if you guys saw this. He's the king of Israel. Somebody tweeted that out, another radio person that I know a lot about, but we'll just, and now he's, this whole thing is yesterday, and I got blowback from some people, who were mad that I would even say anything about Trump and the things that he said. And, that he came out and essentially, if you guys didn't hear what he said yesterday, but he has attacked anybody who's of the Jewish faith and for even thinking about voting Democratic.
I think any Jewish people that vote for a Democrat, I think it shows either a total lack of knowledge or great disloyalty.
I just, that frustrated me. He's got blowback from a bunch of leaders, people on both sides of the aisle, Jewish leaders coming out and condemning that, saying that's ridiculous. And I sit here and I'm thinking, my God, this is where our politics in this day and age is. This ridiculous world that we live in, where we fight over things that can actually be solved, that we argue over things that we can actually get done, where we fight over things that seem more like Real Housewives than actual policy and politics. And it is so damn frustrating. It is. It is just so frustrating. I try to, as much as I love politics and, over the last 2 years, I got to say, I don't talk it. We don't talk about it. We debate the craziness, right? We debate the pop culture side of politics. We don't actually debate how things get done. We don't actually debate whether things are good or bad. We don't actually debate whether or not this put into play, whatever it is, would be good for the country or bad for the country. We do none of those things anymore, especially at the federal level, nationwide level. It is just nothing but extremism and sound bites. Sad. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Trump also said this morning he's not going to do any tax cuts, at least not right now, because we don't need it. The economy's strong enough that we don't need it. And I think he's holding that in the back pocket scenario. And so that I completely understand. If you're him, you hold that in the back pocket as a just-in-case scenario. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Spicy. Sean Spicer going to be on Dancing with the Stars. So this is what happens when you leave the president, right? Because Spice has been, unlike the Mooch, right? Because the Mooch is doing everything he's going to fund anybody who wants to run essentially against Trump. But I find it interesting that he's one of the few that he's kept his mouth pretty quiet, still been a supporter of the president, and but not afraid to go on the shows and face the line of fire. So let's see how the country takes him, because that is very much a middle America thing, Dancing with the Stars. So we'll see how the Spice does. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Moms, dads, everybody, clock watching. Why? Kids are in school about 3 o'clock. What happens? They get home. Then what? Are you sure they're home? Not quite sure? Are they safe? You want a little peace of mind? That's where Blink comes in. Blink indoor-outdoor security cameras are there for your back-to-school shopping list and peace of mind. Blink cameras are almost like being there when your kids get home, moments after they walk through the door. So they walk through the door, boom, you get an alert on your smartphone app. Whoa, who's hanging out with you? Because you got the two-way talk, right? Oh, Mom, this is just, yeah, no, nobody in the house but you. Oh, yeah. Blinks are easy to set up. A couple AA batteries, right? Just a few of those. Boom. Run a couple years on those. And the system, like I said, wire-free, sets up in minutes. And they start at under $100 with no monthly contract. Act now and save up to 20% with Blink's back-to-school sale through Labor Day. Thanks to Blink, back-to-school security just got easier. Visit blinkprotect.com/sale. 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 Also available on Amazon. Blink is an Amazon company, and it works with Alexa. Chad Benson Show.
no snowflake zone. Uninformed opinions are in danger of melting. The Chad Benson Show.
President Trump is calling off his planned trip to Denmark after the Danish prime minister dismissed his idea of the U.S. buying Greenland as absurd. President Trump announced in a tweet, quote, based on Prime Minister Mette Frederikson's comments that she would have no interest in discussing the purchase of Greenland, I will be postponing our meeting. The president was scheduled to travel to Denmark over the Labor Day weekend when he is also traveling to Poland.
Yeah. And then today he called her nasty. That's the stuff right there, right? You could be, and there's a lot of you out there. Look at him. I have news for this. So many people out there, both sides of the aisle. Some people look at him as the Antichrist. Other people look at him as the second coming. That stuff right there. I talked to Congressman David Schweikert yesterday, and he was very honest. He says, there's times, a lot of times, where the rhetoric is ridiculous. And we spend more time answering questions about things that he said than trying to get stuff done. Why would you call her nasty? Because she doesn't want to sell you a part of her country? So that's why you're mad? How do you even, look, if I was her, I'd have showed up and say, all right, you want to buy our country? You want to buy a piece of this? You want to buy Greenland? $6 trillion. That's what we think. For that, you get the mineral rights. You get all of the stuff, the whole 9 yards. $6 trillion. Go. Well, I was just inquiring. Or maybe he says yes. Again, puts it on a credit card. Gets the miles. I don't know. I just sat there and think to myself, this is the battle that goes on. This right here is the battle. Why did you call her nasty? Was there a real reason to call her nasty? And I know your base gets jazzed about that, but, look, I understand the strategic reason you may want to buy Greenland, but that's the stuff right there where you just sit there and go, 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Friends, lawsuit, huh?
It wasn't just watching 55 episodes of Friends in 4 days while on the job in January or taking in 20 episodes of Arrested Development 2 months later. Robert De Niro's film production company Canal also alleges its former VP of Production and Finance, Chase Robinson, racked up over $20,000 in unauthorized charges at restaurants and grocery stores and spent $32,000 on Ubers and taxis. Canal has filed a $6 million lawsuit against Robinson, saying caviar lunches and copious amounts of Netflix binging were not a part of the job description.
That is a lot of binge watching. That is. I don't know how people, I'll watch a show and I'll watch a couple episodes, but there's a time limit where I'm just like, I'm out, right? Like, a couple episodes, I'm like, all right, I'm on to something else, right? It's just, wow. But man, that is awesome. 55. Wow. And then The Office, another 20? Whoa. And the lunches. Let me tell you something. Hollywood is about lunches, right? It is. It is about lunches. Where are you lunching at? What are you doing? Where are you going to be seen? Well, I can't go anywhere. I've got to have stuff brought into me. Why is that? Because I'm watching Friends all day. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. By the way, that production company and the whole Irishman that's coming out, which is this new Netflix movie that they want to release in theaters. Apparently theater chains are saying, yeah, I don't know. I don't think we're going to do this. We're going to allow you to have it here if you're going to release it on Netflix at the same day. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show. Chad Benson Show.
Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
One study published in Epidemiology indicates that people generally overestimate their nightly sleep by about 48 minutes. So if you think you're getting 8 hours, it's probably closer to 7. And researchers say that getting less than that brings on an interesting problem. Laboratory subjects who were allowed to get only 6 hours a night for 10 days straight started to report that they felt fine, even as their cognitive function was headed downhill.
Yeah. I try to get 6 solid. I always joke about MyPillow, because they're one of my sponsors, but I tell you what, I sleep better than I've slept in forever. But I will tell you this, guys, right now, before I didn't sleep at all. As I've gotten older, I've learned to sleep much better. I was better at naps. I know that's weird, but it is vitally important. And you don't realize how important sleep is to you. Your cognitive function, you start to lose a little bit. And there are people out there, my doctor's like, you're just one of those weird people that if you get 3 hours of sleep or if you get 8 hours of sleep, you function exactly the same. But, it's the other things, right? Because, you don't realize about not only how you function as it gets later in the day, but also one of the little things out there that adds up is your consumption of food. Because when you're tired, your body's like, I need energy. And if you're not going to sleep, you got to get something else. And what do? You go to fuel. What's the fuel? Food. Something. And over time, what ends up happening? You start putting on weight, which causes you to have more trouble sleeping. It's little things in life, man. You do these little things in life. You make little changes, they can go a long way. But sleeping is so important. And in theory, we're supposed to do it a good portion of our life, right? About a third of our life. We should be resting and or sleeping, which when you think also about it, it's like, God, I'm wasting a lot of time. I've got a limited time on this planet. I'm spending a third of it sleeping. I feel like I'm lazy. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. I do like hearing from every single one of you. I found this funny. Somebody asked Bernie yesterday about health care and the cost of health care.
That's the point. Now, you can ask me, all right, how much is it going to cost? I don't have that in my pocket. And nobody does. We're talking about well over $3 trillion a year, which is what we're paying.
So wait a minute. You don't know what it's going to cost, but you want it to be the government in charge of it. And we're paying this and we're paying that. That's what you want. You want us to turn everything over to you guys. Eliminate private health insurance. And it's going to be great, right? Like the other day, he was with a bunch of union members, and they were like, hey, just a quick question. So you're going to take away our Cadillac plan. So we work hard to negotiate. Yes, but don't worry, you're never going to pay for anything. You're going to pay for it. It's not free. You're going to pay for it. And it's going to cost a lot of money. By the way, our spending and our debt, we're getting there earlier, 2 years earlier. 2 years earlier, according to the latest. So we're going to add more onto it, and you don't even know what it is. And this is my problem with government and the way they run things. Here's a perfect example of poorly run government, right? California is lucky because they have sunshine, beautiful weather. You take their politics and move it to the center of the country, and every one of those people will be voted out in 5 minutes because they're insane. It's crazy. Gavin Newsom blaming the homeless crisis on in San Francisco and Los Angeles and elsewhere on Texas. You're such an idiot. My God, talk about an empty suit between you and Garcetti down in Los Angeles. But here's a perfect example of what things are told they're going to cost, right? And what they actually cost. Now, I want you guys to understand this. There's a massive problem. I grew up in Southern California, in Los Angeles area. There used to be, you had Skid Row and you go, people drive by and it was, but you don't know how filthy and nasty it is there now. It is beyond nasty. So there are 72 new apartments for homeless and low-income senior citizens. So 72 new apartments. They want to build 10,000 of these. That's their goal, right? That is their goal. 10,000 of these. But it's Los Angeles, Southern California. Between regulations and unions and the fact that there's no space and they won't let you build anywhere, whether it's San Francisco, San Diego, or Los Angeles, you're going to have trouble. So they've built 72 of them in the very up-and-coming and hip and trendy Koreatown. Cost per unit, $700,000. $700,000. Median price apartment to own in Southern California is about $550,000. That's an apartment. That's not a house. So you're homeless. And let's remember, a majority of them have drug problems. A majority of them don't want anything that you're offering them if there's rules attached to it. They want any of that crap. And how much were they supposed to cost? Well, so we're talking $50 million. The voters passed a $1.2 million bond measure in 2016, hoping to see up to 10,000 permanent housing units, right? They said, it's going to be tough to make a significant dent in the 27,000. If San Francisco says 8,000, probably 15,000. 12 to 15. If L.A. and Orange County in that area and around there say 27,000, probably put it closer to 40. Right? So they want to do 10,000 of these. They've done 72. The bond issue provides up to $150,000 a unit. So they overshot that. And, oh, by the way, there's facilities inside there to help people transition from crapping in the streets to crapping on a toilet. Hey, guess what? You don't have to shoot heroin up out on the streets anymore. You could do it in your nice apartment. And they're not going to stay there long because you and I both know the minute that rules are attached, they're going to turn around and flee. It's so amazing. People busting their ass, working hard, and you're sitting out there watching them piss away everything because they're trying to take care of the homeless, of which a majority of them. Look, there are people out there that, like the low-income senior citizens, I get it. What's happened? They've lived in California most of their life, and it's now too expensive for them to live. It's crazy. I joke about it. I saw Pauly Shore joked about it the other day. He says he's got a beautiful home. He's got, he lives a good life. His mother and them. And besides the fact that he's done pretty well for himself. If you guys don't know, the famous Comedy Store, that's where he grew up. His mom, Mitzi, owned the Comedy Store, and that's now Pauly's and everything now. But the reality is he said, I can't afford to live in my own home if it wasn't for the fact that my mom's the same way. My mom could not afford to live in the home that she has now. And a majority of people in California are like that. And you're going to hand over the keys to a $700,000 apartment to a person who probably doesn't want to live there. And there are people that genuinely, you know what? You want to hand up. They're struggling. A few twists and turns and some bad luck have put them in that situation. But they'll be out of there if you give them the opportunity within 60 to 90 days. But that's not what we're talking about. This was a feel-good boondoggle that is a bunch of crap. That is. They're the opposite of the tooth fairy in California. While you're sleeping, they're not putting anything under your pillow. They're taking. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. If you haven't heard, there's a new rule when it comes to immigration. Got a new rule. And this rule is going to be very interesting to see how this thing plays itself out. They talked about it today, Kevin McAleenan talking about the new rule that's going into effect potentially in 60 days that has to do with keeping the families kind of together.
The driving factor for this crisis is weakness in our legal framework for immigration. Human smugglers advertise, and intending migrants know well that even if they cross the border illegally, arriving at our border with a child has meant that they will be released into the United States to wait for court proceedings that could take 5 years or more.
That's true. So now what happens is if you come here and you're a family, you're going to be detained until the proceedings have played themselves out, however long those may be. And it's not all the way to its conclusion. Right? They're saying 3 months, maybe a little bit more, and it's about keeping the families together. Because right now with the Flores Act, it is 20 days. That's the length that you can hold a child. So how does that play out? I don't know. What does that look like? I don't know. Remember, a good majority of these facilities are not government facilities. They are facilities that contract. So they've put all of these things in place. Will it be better? Won't it be better? I couldn't tell you.
There are 3 family detention facilities operating by the Trump administration. We have had numerous concerns with conditions inside those facilities, as well as the detention of children.
So that right there was Madhu Greenwald from the ACLU. So it's going to be, again, this is going to court. Everything goes to court nowadays. Most important part of our system, if you will, our co-equal branches of government are the courts. That is the most important part of our system because the court will have the final say. People will battle it out. We're now at the point now where the most important part of what you do when you're going out there and you're either putting together a bill or you're trying to get something passed or you're trying to get something on the ballot is make sure legally you've got all of your I's dotted, your T's crossed, because that's where even if the public votes it in, that's eventually where your bill and law is going to be challenged over and over again, and it's going to end up in court. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Do love hearing from you. Raycons, love them. Somebody working out today sent me a text, said, hey, these Raycons are amazing. They are so incredible. So if you've thought, I want to get some earbuds, right? But I don't want those things dangling down. I don't want any wires, but I want earbuds. But I want them to be Bluetooth, but I want them to look cool. That's where Raycon comes in. The E50s are amazing. Ray J put them together. He's a businessman, an entrepreneur, somebody who's in the music industry for a long time. And this is about sound quality and comfort as well as style. So many of the other things that are out there are built for the phone, not so much for comfort and quality, if you get my drift. And that's what this is. Comfort, quality, style, and it costs way less. How about half the price of all those other things out there that you go spend a ton of money on? Oh, my God, so much cheaper. And right now, when you go to buyraycon.com/Chad, you're going to save 15%. So the best style around, best sound quality around, right? And the comfort in the way it works and fits inside your ear, nothing is better than Raycons. Get yours today. Buyraycon.com/Chad. Buyraycon.com/Chad. That saves you 15%. Buyraycon.com/Chad. Chad Benson Show.
Plea deal this.
Mueller, arrest me.
Chad will trade you 2 perjury charges for 1 collusion and throw in a reduced charge of obstruction for free.
Yeah, I'd do that.
For just listening to The Chad Benson Show.
I really think it's about being present and engaging in the adult that's trying to teach you, your peers that might be in your small group.
Every student at San Mateo High School is assigned the Yonder Pouch. Like a textbook, they're responsible for it year-round. The SF-based company is on a mission to create phone-free spaces. Teachers here say they want the same thing. Fearful students are too attached to their phones.
I likened it to a student who is dealing with tobacco or drug addiction. They need to have this in their hands. They need to be engaging with it, or they don't feel whole.
Yeah, it is. Look, I stand up right now. I say it. I'm addicted to my phone. I am. I'm addicted to it. It's with me all the time, and we've talked about it on numerous occasions. You leave your house and you leave your wallet at home, you're going to leave it there. If you got gas to get to and fro, you're going to leave it there, right? You borrow $10 from somebody at work, whatever it is, if you need to get, something to eat. You leave your phone, you will drive back the minute you have a chance or turn around. That's real.
So this is phone usage per day before Yonder. How many messages did you get? How many times did you check social media? How many hours did you spend on your phone? How would you describe these numbers?
Big. Surprising.
excessive.
A little too much.
So despite the initial panic from students, at least these 4 admit there are benefits to a phone-free school.
I remember like sophomore year, I checked my followers constantly.
You're just constantly comparing yourself to other women on your feed, and it definitely takes a toll on your self-image.
Well, yeah, but that's nothing to do with school. But that's all to do with the fact that you're there, right? And you're doing something and you're keeping contact with stuff and you're participating what you feel in the world that you live in. But it takes away from why you're actually there, which is what? To learn. Get your learn on.
Just this week, teachers say they already see the difference.
See, everyone else was talking and socializing and eating lunch together, and that's what I was not seeing enough of when the phone usage is at its worst.
Yeah. And so when you go there, put it in this little pouch, it locks unless there's an emergency. So everybody has their own thing, then they can unlock it, and then it locks as school starts and then unlocks the minute school's out. Simple. It is. It is simple. And we didn't have to deal with this, right? We didn't have to. There was nothing about this that we had to deal with as a kid. They have a lot of other things to deal with. Some good, some bad. And this is one of those things where the distraction inside the classroom, if I had a phone, like I remember as a kid growing up, when I got my Pac-Man watch, right? So that should bring back memories to everybody who's old enough to remember a Pac-Man watch. We had to eventually the school said, you guys can't bring your Pac-Man watches to school because everybody was playing Pac-Man on their watch instead of doing school. Now imagine that tenfold. That's what that is. I couldn't imagine that. We had Pac-Man watch. It's like they're sending stuff home saying you can't bring your Pac-Man watch. God, I was so stoked when I got my Pac-Man watch. I thought, this is pretty much it. Doesn't get any better than this. Technology will get no better than what's going on right now. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. You can text the program. Check out the old Instagram as well. I posted something funny. You even liked it, Phil, about the NASA.
Oh, heck
and
yeah,
the Earth.
Of course.
Yeah, it's funny. For those of you guys who don't know, there's a lot of people out there who think the Earth is flat, and it's not flat. We checked. NASA. Check that out on the Instagram, 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. That is your Twitter. Your Instagram, check out thechadshow.com. You can grab your podcast right there. Just grab it. It is absolutely free. Getting you over the hump. We do that. That's what we do here. We take care of you. Pac-Man watch. I bet I can get one of those on Amazon. I'm going to check it out. Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
I have an appetite for background checks. We're going to be doing background checks. We're working with Democrats. We're working with Republicans.
Do you? Really? You're all over the place when it comes to background checks. Yes, no, maybe, kind of. I'm not quite sure. Maybe, yes. No, we're not going to do it. What do we do, right? Like the guns they're going to be an issue always. They're going to be an issue in 2020. There'll be an issue again in 2024. There'll be an issue again in 2028, just like immigration will be, just like choice will be. These things are never going anywhere because we don't have political parties that are truly engaged and want to actually get something done and move on to something else. Without conflict, they feel like they have nothing, right? They need to feel needed. And they need that conflict. And that's where guns are. Today, him speaking again about background checks and all kinds of things on the White House lawn before he took off. He's heading off to Kentucky for another rally. And he, compared to where he was yesterday, if it was, yes, we're discussing it. We're going to get back. We're going to talk about it once everybody's back from recess. Then it was, nah, we're not going to do it. Now it's like, well,
we're working on background checks. There are things we can do, but we already have very serious background checks. We have strong background checks. We can close up the gaps. We can do things that are very good and things that, frankly, gun owners want to have done.
Well, that's fine. What are those things? Because that's a lot of, just like other politicians, a lot of gobbledygook there. But this is an issue, and this is a re-election issue, and that's what this is going to be. Because it's an issue that both parties can stand their ground, if you will, and raise a ton of money. Since El Paso and Dayton, 27 people have been arrested for making threats. This is a 15-year-old boy in Florida. Guess what happens to him for making a threat?
He's under arrest currently for making a threat to cause a mass shooting / act of terror. It's a
cause a mass shooting?
A threat, a written threat, plan to carry out a mass.
But he's just a little kid playing a video game.
And all these kids keep getting arrested. And that's why the FBI and the local law enforcement is spending so much time. Because how do we know he's not going to be the kid from Parkland? He's not going to be the next kid, the kid that shot up Sandy Hook. We don't know that.
So they show up at his house. He made threats on a video game that he was going to get his dad's gun. And, it's, you sit here and, is this the see something, say something? Is this going to be like a lot of things? Is it going to be overused? How real is it? But people are worried. And now they have to go out there. And in Florida, if you put something in writing like that, and that was on a video game like, Thread, you're going to be charged.
Well, he didn't cause or act or do anything, though.
He made the statement, too. It's a written statement. It's a written threat to kill or to make a mass shooting or act of terror. So if I get on there and say, I pledge ISIS and I'm going to blow everybody up, that's the same charge as, you know what, man, I'm fed up. I'm going to go to school tomorrow and shoot up my school. So he'll be going to the juvenile jail. He'll be placed in there for several days. The charge is a felony.
A felony. Class 2, Class 3. Now, Mom, I think Mom's starting to sense, because there's two guys here who have just put my 15-year-old nerdy-looking son into custody. And she's starting to get the sense now how real this is.
He's a little boy. He didn't do anything wrong. Yes, he's 15, but he's still a little boy, and he's not one of the crazy people out there doing stuff.
Well, he did what he did.
Yeah, but he shouldn't be treated as though he's a terrorist or something because he made a silly statement on a stupid video game. Well, he's not that person.
Do you own a gun?
I have a gun, yes.
Okay, so he has hands and feet. He can grab your gun and go do something.
He would never do anything like that anyway.
We don't know. We don't know.
No, but I know.
Well, of course, your mom, right? I doubt anybody who is a shooter and has gone out and shot and killed a bunch of people. I doubt Mom, in most cases, again, it's Mom and Mom alone, thought their kid was capable of doing something like that. Serial killers, I doubt their moms thought they were, thought, hey, I think Jeffrey is a bit off. I don't think, they may have thought they were a bit off, but capable of doing certain things. And now he faces the consequences. Do I think this little boy is capable of that? I don't know anymore. Really? I don't. Probably not. But there's no more throwaway lines in life. That's something we all need to realize. There is no more throwaway. There's no more joking in certain situations in what you say, because it's now seen as a threat. Does that go too far in 99.9% of the cases? Absolutely. But America, based on pissed off, angry people who decided to kill, maim, and destroy people's lives, we have lost our throwaway line ability of like, I'm going to shoot you, or there's a bomb. We've lost those things.
People think it's funny to say, I'm going to go kill people at school.
Well, he's not people. He's a child.
Okay.
There's a difference. He's playing a video game and he's a boy.
Some parents say, it's not my son, and then it might not be your son, but
I know it's
unfortunately,
not my son.
somebody's son does, and then this is the world we're in, where kids are getting shot at school while they're trying to learn, and
I
kids are getting
understand that.
shots, and we can't say, all right, we trust that this guy's not going to do it, and then it happens, and then we say, well, we had the chance
Yeah,
to
but
stop
I'm
it.
telling you right now, this is not my son.
He made the charge. He's going to face the consequences.
Yep. So he faces the Class 2 or Class 3 felony and the throwaway line. It's gone. We were talking about that earlier between producer Phil and producer Anthony. It's just we've lost that weird, you not even thinking about it, saying something off-kilter, sense of humor, and it getting somewhere, and somebody taking it serious now. And again, 27 people have been arrested. And some of those people that we've talked about, they didn't have the means to do anything. And they were angry. Some of them are mentally disturbed, right? The guy that wanted to go shoot up the church or whatever in Memphis, talking about how the church at Memphis was putting snakes and things inside of his bed, and his mom said he's been treated for schizophrenia for years, and probably didn't even have the means at that point. But you just don't know. But we've lost that now. And in competitive craziness of video games and the way that people play these things and the throwaway things that people say, how real is it? 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You could tweet at us. We have a new rule going into place potentially in 60 days when it comes to immigration, families, how long children can be held.
The administration is dealing with this historical influx of migrants, and it has dipped slightly in the past couple of weeks, but we're still looking at historic highs, and they want to not encourage people to come. And what the Trump administration and conservatives have been saying for a long time now is that people know that if they come with children, that these restrictions placed by the court are in place, and they can't hold them for very long.
Yeah, and that is the Flores decision. So the Flores decision essentially says, all right, you come here, we can only hold you for a certain amount of time. And that is 20 days as a child. So usually what ends up happening is they reunite the family after 20 days, and that's the catch and release. And we've got loopholes inside of and it is our law that we need to close up. Will it get done? Won't it get done? The new rule, much different. Now, essentially, you come here and you're a family. You're going to be detained together, and you'll be detained as a family for as long as it takes to get you through the process. And we know that process can be long.
The new rule establishes a high national standard for care of children and families in custody, allows the government to keep families together for fair and expeditious immigration proceedings, restores integrity to our immigration system, and eliminates the incentive for children to be used or exploited to enter the United States.
Yeah, so we'll see. And we'll also see when it comes to how the kids are taken care of, because the ACLU is already coming out. They're filing lawsuits. And this isn't meant, again, this isn't meant to send a message, in particular to south of the border, through Mexico, on into the Triangle. Don't come here. Don't come here. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Does it mean it's going to stop people from coming? No, I don't think so. Because I also think they're smart enough to realize, and they're getting told enough by immigration groups up here and migrant groups up here that don't worry, Trump will be overturned in court. You've got nothing to worry about. We need to fix that. It's a problem that needs to get fixed. I'm not saying throw everybody out here. That's, it's so funny because if you talk about having a real border and enforcing laws, nowadays you're a racist or you're a xenophobe, right? No, we should be open to people coming here legally. We should be open to easier access to work visas to come here. We should be open to a lot of things, but we shouldn't be open just for the sake of being open. We need to fix that. We do. But neither side is going to do it. Much like with guns or choice or immigration, too much money in it. Too much money in it, too much power in it. I don't want to kill the golden goose. And the golden goose is the debate, the argument, the issue. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. I love this Bernie soundbite when asked about how much his plan would cost.
That's the way. Now, you can ask me, all right, how much is it going to cost? I don't have that in my pocket. Nobody does. We're talking about well over $3 trillion a year, which is what.
If you don't know and you want us to turn it over, what if it's not $3 trillion? What if it's $5 trillion? What if it's $6 or $7 trillion? Harry Reid came out yesterday and saying open borders and Medicare for all is not going to win this election. No, I don't think so either. I don't. But, if you don't know, if you have no idea, then that can only mean that it isn't going to be $3 trillion. It'll probably be closer to 4, 5, or 6 trillion. And what do we do at that point in time when we realize that, we bit off more than we could chew? 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. MyPillow, amazing, incredible. Sleep is vitally important. It really is for your well-being, for your just for everything. Everything. Including your weight. You didn't know about that? People don't realize, man, you don't get a good night's sleep. The next day, your body's searching for energy, and if you're not going to take a nap, what is it going to look for? It's going to look for energy, and that energy is usually going to come in food. That's why MyPillow is incredible. And the CEO, Mike Lindell, is just a great guy. And what he's offering right now for my listeners is something amazing. Click on the radio listener special, and what you're going to do is you're going to see all the products, right? Up to 50% off all of the products. You name it, they've got it, up to 50% off. MyPillows, mattress toppers, bed sheets, and so much more. And get this, they've got this incredible body pillow. Normally it's $90, $89.99. Right now, $29.99 with promo code Benson. 60-day money-back guarantee, free shipping, 10-year warranty. Go to MyPillow.com, click on the radio listener special, or call 800-983-4975. You're going to save up to 50% off, including the body pillow for only $29.99. Remember to enter code Benson. That's MyPillow.com, MyPillow.com, code Benson for the best night's sleep. MyPillow.com, code Benson. Save up to 50%. It's the Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show, where we reach across the aisle and occasionally poke someone in the eye.
Amazing! From The Bachelorette to Christy Brinkley to former White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer and a former Supreme. The season's lineup of ABC's Dancing with the Stars is definitely what you could call eclectic. The cast announced on Good Morning America Wednesday. Now, in addition to Brinkley, we'll see Bachelorette Hannah Brown, Spicer, and ex-Supreme Mary Wilson. Other celebs out for the Mirrorball Trophy include former NBA star Lamar Odom, Kate Flannery of The Office, pop star Allie Brooke, and country singer Lauren Elena.
I was going to say, can Lamar Odom go that long without watching porn? Da-da-da. The Spice Man. The Spice Man's going to be on there. Yes, indeed. That brings us to this.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition, liftoff.
Now it's time to find out what's trending. What's trending? Yeah, what does that mean? I mean something, right? Like it's trending on the old internet. What's trending? That is the number one thing trending, actually. Dancing with the Stars. So amazing. For all the stuff people talk about, politics, that and the other. When you go look at the things that are trending, rarely is it any of that. Amazonia? I don't know what that is. It's trending. Carly Lloyd, if you didn't see her, she had a 55-yard field goal at the Eagles practice, and people are starting to ask the question, is it possible? Anything's possible. Give her a tryout. She nailed it, too, and it was one of the practice. And so if you go look at the NFL goalpost, they've got their normal goalpost, but the kickers always have something else where they'll have smaller goalpost that they aim at. So in the game, it's just repetitive. So why not give her a tryout? Let's do it. 1,000-year slumber Pokemon Go, also trending. On the Twitter side of things, a lot of crazy stuff trending. This is where the political stuff trends. The Antichrist, Charlize Theron, 25th Amendment now, the chosen one, because Trump apparently is the chosen one, is what people are saying. Some people. I don't know who those are. It's insane. What is wrong with people? 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Love hearing from each and every one of you. I do. It's interesting to see how the spice is going to be taken on Dancing with the Stars, because he's the Spice Man, right? So you worked with Trump. So automatically, in a lot of people's eyes, you're the devil unless you become the mooch, right? Who's going against everything Trump does. And then you're going to be asked, I'm sure, and you're going to have to deal with people. And this is funny because I think what ends up happening is you find out that they're just normal people, that they're actually good people, that they're not bad people, that it was a job, and that they're not Trump. And I think it changes some people's minds. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. See if he's got any skills. I'm just interested in Lamar Odom because he said the other day he's given up porn. And we'll see how that goes. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. The Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
We are looking at birthright citizenship very seriously. It's frankly ridiculous.
Ridiculous. Trump today, before he headed off to Kentucky, on the lawn there, before he hopped on the helicopter, looking at all kinds of stuff. Had a lot of things to say today, including Denmark, because he's canceled the trip to Denmark. He's supposed to go over there Labor Day weekend. And, of course, they're in the situation where he had talked about, what would you charge for Greenland? And the Danish prime minister said, not for sale. Trump apparently took offense to a particular word.
I looked forward to going, but I thought that the prime minister's statement that it was absurd, it was an absurd idea, was nasty. I thought it was an inappropriate statement. All she had to do is say, no, we wouldn't be interested.
Absurd. Did you know that, producer Phil? It's absurd.
It's very Charles Emerson Winchester there.
Very much, for those of you not understanding what MASH is. Phenomenal. So he's upset about that, right? Pissed.
The prime minister used a terrible word when...
Absurd is that terrible word.
When describing something that we've been talking about for years with our country.
Yes, at one time Truman inquired, hey, we'll give you $100 million in gold shekels if you allow us to have this area. If that's at all possible. We'll give you $100 million. And they turned it down. I don't know what it'd be. Today I think it would be worth, I couldn't tell you what it would cost, to be honest with you. I'm not quite sure. Trillion? Right? Maybe? A couple trillion? And we don't have trillions just sitting around.
The Congressional Budget Office says the federal deficit will average more than $1 trillion a year for the next decade. The nonpartisan congressional number crunchers say the reason, raising the federal debt limit again and reversing a 10% planned cut they were going to make to the defense and non-defense programs. The CBO director says Congress can only fix the problem by either raising taxes, cutting spending, or both.
Raising taxes or cutting spending. Both is probably the right answer. And in fact, I wouldn't even raise taxes. What I would do is I would go in and fix the tax code. Keep the levels where they are. Fix certain things in the tax code. And there you go. You get a little bit more. And then I would look at cutting and going, all right, what can we cut? What duplicate agencies do we have that we don't need? What programs are out there that absolutely suck, that don't get any results, but we continue to throw money away? Where else do we waste money? Let's look at defense. What are we buying that even the military says we no longer need, but we're spending money on it and they're going to sit in a warehouse? All right, let's go look at that. Okay. What other entitlement programs are out there that are popular, but the reality is that they're also hurting us? What can we do to fix some of these things? They'll do none of those things, by the way. Just want to point that out. None of those things will get done. I love this story. This story makes me smile. This mom has got it going on. She gets it. I'm a dad. I look at college. I think college is a wonderful thing. I think education, though, is been overly sold. You're going anymore in some cases just to impress an employer, then the employer has no idea if you're even capable of doing anything. Kids don't value certain things. So this mom decided, I had enough of this, and want.
Shakitha McGregor said, my 3 kids keep asking me for electronics. They want allowance. They want to go to places that cost a lot of money. And she said, how do I teach them that I'm not an endless bank account?
You'll always be an endless bank account. I think we all realize that if you're a parent. But it's good to teach.
Well, she decided to have a hiring fair when they got home from school one day. Her youngest is 6, by the way. The oldest is 15. They are welcome to apply for positions within the house so that they can get some good credit and make some money.
Yes, make some money. So, picture this. Kids come home from school. They want to do stuff. They want electronics. They want goody. What can I get? What can I get? What can I get? Me. What can I get? Right? Bank of mom, bank of dad, bank of grandma, grandpa. What can I get? Let's learn a little something.
Job openings are kitchen manager, lead housekeeper, and laundry supervisor.
So, translation. You're going to work in the kitchen, right? Cleaning, washing dishes, doing the things that you should be doing. Lead housekeeper, taking care of the house, cleaning the room, vacuum, stuff like that. And, of course, laundry. Ask any parent, especially if you got kids. Laundry, man, parents, woo.
Oh, those are some good jobs.
I love her so much.
This is a good one.
Yes.
Oh, that house is going to be spick and span.
And she went all the way.
She did. She totally went all the way. What I love about it, too, is the kids got into it. One of the kids put on a British accent because thought it would help get a job. She made him dress up. So they couldn't just come home from school. They had to be in the suit and tie. They had to have little resumes. They had to look the part. And I think that's great. I think we need more of that stuff in this day and age. Understanding what something costs, I think, is lost on kids nowadays. God, it's so amazing. Asking a kid, even my son, God, I love Jack to death. But sometimes I think, you know what? He just doesn't get it. This is a perfect example. So he's out here with me for the last 10 days. Went home this past weekend. We had so much fun. We did a lot of stuff. And yeah, I'll admit it. At times I overspoil my son. But part of that's on me because I didn't maybe get some of that stuff when I was a kid. But I also like him when he comes here. I want him to know, look, I get up extra early. I do 3 radio shows. I do all kinds of video stuff, all kinds of other things. Suppose I have another bit. I work hard, and he gets some of that stuff. He does understand. You know, Dad's gone for like 15 hours a day. He sees it. But then he doesn't, he also gets to do things that other kids don't do. And you want to have that situation where, you know what, they kind of understand. Hey, you know what? Mom and Dad, they're knocking out the rent, as they would say, as old Chris Rock would say. Right? And I don't think kids get that. In this day of instant gratification, do they understand all of that stuff? No, I don't think they do. I don't think they get all of that. And maybe it's time for a little refresher course. That the bank of mom and dad aren't always open for a freebie, right? But, Zig Ziglar, the great old sales guru, would teach people. He always say, the escalator to success is closed, but the stairs are always open. I think we need to teach kids that more and more. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You could tweet at me. I love hearing from every single one of you. English or no English, what say you at work?
7 Puerto Rican healthcare workers say...
And by the way, that sounded like a joke, right? 7 Puerto Rican healthcare.
7 Puerto Rican healthcare workers say a supervisor told them to stop speaking Spanish among themselves at work or they would get fired. The women work at the Florida Health Department clinic in Haines City. A community group says a human resources complaint was filed and a letter was written to the Florida Department of Health. The workers say the job requires them to be bilingual to help care for Hispanic patients, but claim supervisors told them they could not speak their native language among each other. The health department did not immediately respond to a request for comment.
Yeah, I would say so. Look, when it's called for, like if your native language is Spanish and all of you around are Spanish, right? So you're speaking Spanish to each other. And then when a customer comes in and that person speaks English, then yes, you would expect the English be spoken. Right. And I mean, anybody's ever gone, to certain places where you think, are they talking about me? There's that frustration and that worry. And I think it's more about them worrying. But, I don't have a problem with them requiring you to speak English in a situation where English needs to be spoken, just like you need to be bilingual in certain areas because you're going to be dealing with people. And it's not always Spanish. Depends where you are in the country, but a good majority of the time it is. But yeah, I mean, English should be spoken. That's part of it, and a good understanding of English. But we'll see how this goes. And this is one of those things that's you talk about something like this, and you say, well, this is the job. The job is this, but you got to speak English. People freak out about it. I remember it was a few years ago, the LPGA, which is the women's golf, professional golf. They wanted to require everybody who was going to be on the LPGA to speak English. And everybody screamed, racism, racism, racism. Well, when you're having trouble trying to get sponsors and a big, what you don't see. So tomorrow is the Tour Championship in the men's Tour Championship. So Tuesday and Wednesday, what is it? You're meeting sponsors. You're playing around with guys who run big companies. It's vitally important. You have the opportunity. And the thing is, it's so funny because people freaked out about that. But a lot of people who are sponsors complained. I go out with these women who are pro golfers. They don't speak a word of English. They don't talk to me for the entire round. It feels uncomfortable. But, that's wrong. I think it's the same thing at a business. I understand. If people are speaking a different language around you, yeah, there's a certain uncomfortability, I'm sure, that goes in there. Are they talking about me? Are they talking about me? What are they saying? But if they want to speak to each other and they're the only ones around and they're not dealing with a client, that's one thing. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at me. Love hearing from every single one of you. Check out the Twitter. Check out the Instagram as well as the Facebook. Car Shield. What is it? It's awesome, right? Really, Chad? Is it really awesome? It is. Let me tell you something. What's it cost to fix a car nowadays? So much money. It's ridiculous. Producer Anthony he got a little dent, and he was telling me about like it's to the point where he's like, I don't even, it's a dent. And they're telling me you got to take it these 8 different places. That's a dent. Imagine what it's like dealing with engines. And all the electronics and everything. That's where Car Shield comes in. You get 24/7 roadside assistance, a rental car for free where your car's in the shop. Shop is the shop you choose, meaning you choose wherever you want to take it. You take it to dealership. You pay a small deductible. They get them paid directly, and that is incredible. With the high cost of repairs going on right now, it's a great way to protect yourself in the case of what if. Call Car Shield today. Find out what kind of plans they have. They have the right plan for you. 800-CAR-6000. Use code Benson, saves you 10%. 800-CAR-6000. Or go to carshield.com, carshield.com. Use that code Benson to save you 10%. A deductible may apply. It's the Chad Benson Show.
I can't take it anymore!
Well, get over it. It's time to forge a new path with your very own political cartographer, Chad.
They don't want to fund Israel. They want to take away foreign aid to Israel. They want to do a lot of bad things to Israel. In my opinion, you vote for a Democrat, you're being very disloyal to Jewish people, and you're being very disloyal to Israel. And only weak people would say anything other than that.
The battle is on. Just never ends. It's never a dull moment. But it doesn't mean it's good. Look, I can agree with stuff. It's so funny that, when it comes to Trump, more so than anything else, right? I mean, I got a little bit with Obama because I would give Obama props for certain things. And people would just, you're one of those. And it's so amazing. It's the same thing with him. Like, you can't criticize him, right? Because, somebody tweeted out today about him being the second coming and, all of this stuff. And I'm like, good God. I don't think he's the Antichrist, and I don't think he's the second coming. I think he's a human being who says stuff, who riles up his base, and is exactly what any other human being is, a flawed individual. I think he's got some good ideas. I think he's got some ideas that I'm not so thrilled about. And I think we now live in a political time where it is just, it's ugly. It is. It's ugly because politics is rarely discussed. The drama of politics is more discussed than anything else, is widely discussed, is debated, is argued. And he is a part of that. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. If you guys haven't heard, they're going to expand the Flores rule they're going to get rid of, and now they're going to expand this new law, put it into effect potentially in 60 days when it comes to immigration illegally, where families will be kept together until their situation, immigration status is figured out and what they're going to allow them to do. Normally, you have 20 days to hold a child. Now what they're going to do is they're going to hold the families together. What does that do? What doesn't it do? I do not know, because I've got to figure out before anybody gets excited like this is a great thing to do or not a great thing to do. We have to look at the fact that it's going to be battled out in court for the foreseeable future. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Producer Phil, this one, kid, is for you.
Blondie's Man from Mars would go hungry in Finland this week. Guitars only in your imagination at the annual Air Guitar World Championships. Winners of national competitions demonstrate their showmanship in playing without an instrument. Guitarists from 20 cities competed in the recent U.S. event, according to the organization U.S. Air Guitar. Wednesday's Orientation. Thursday, the Dark Horses qualifying round. Then Friday, a symposium for climate change and world peace, and the world final.
Okay, wait a minute. So I want to go do air guitar, but I've got to sit through a symposium of world peace and climate change? I don't want to pretend that bad. Just saying. Not that I don't believe. I would love to see world peace. It's just never going to happen. Why? Because we have human beings. So as long as there's human beings, that's never going to happen. Climate change. Why are we not going to change climate? The hubris to think that we will change climate and that we've done all of this strictly as our own, like the planet has nothing to do with it, right? Things don't happen cyclically. But once again, you go back to that, there's human beings. But all I want to do is play pretend guitar. Do you have have you ever seen any of these, Producer Phil, that have a pretend band with you?
I've never seen anything like it.
Phil's a snob because he plays real stuff. He plays real stuff. He plays real instruments. I do not, but he does. So there you go. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. That's your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Check out thechadshow.com. You can grab yourself your podcast there. Your useless fact of the day. He's called the Dutch Giant. He's just been cast in the new Marvel Black Widow movie. He's 7'2". Big dude. Not the biggest. Biggest human being ever to walk the planet Earth, as far as anybody knows, was Robert Wardlow. He passed away at age 22 years old. He was over 400 pounds, had 37 AA shoes. He was 8'11". 8'11". And they said upon his passing, there was no signs that he was slowing down. Stick that in your head for a while. Have a wonderful rest of your day. As always, night-night, Jack.
This is the Chad Benson Show.